Hello, 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 everybody. Good Tuesday afternoon. First alert weather day here on this Tuesday, April, what is it today, 29th? 29th. Working our way through April, almost at the end of the month, just another day to go, and we do have stronger storms that are expected to push in as we work our way into this afternoon. Right now, looks almost like a summer day outside. It kind of felt that way if you walked down the door early this morning. You've been out and about at all. We're having high dew points, very sultry outside. You're feeling that moisture. That's thunderstorm fuel. Dew points right now are near the 70-degree mark in a lot of spots. It's making it just feel gross outside. Kind of what you'd see in the middle of July. All that moisture, all the heat with temperatures right now at the airport at 76 degrees. These temperatures are still expected to climb a few more degrees before these storms arrive, and that will help to fuel them as they start to push in. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning just on the fringes of our area. You can see they're just to the northwest of Decatur County. This is the leading edge of what I'm going to kind of call the appetizer round of the storms today. We will see over the next couple of hours these scattered storms push on through. I hope that they can take some of the energy out of the atmosphere. But this is only the leading edge. We have many more storms off to the southwest and a severe thunderstorm watch in Missouri that we'll have to worry about later on tonight. So this is just the leading edge. Let's take a look at them. You can see these storms have been rolling on in over the past, this is a 1 hour loop, so they're moving pretty quick. You're already starting to see some light rainfall there just to the west of Greensburg along the 74 corridor. A lot of lightning with these, and there was one measured wind gust with these storms pushing in from Indianapolis there, just southwest of Indy near the Martinsville area. You can see that little icon there. Over Martinsville, that was a measured 65-mile-per-hour gust there south of Indianapolis. So these storms are packing a little bit of a punch. That newest severe thunderstorm warning does not include any of the tri-state area just yet. But you can see there is a severe thunderstorm warning there just to the west and northwest of Greensburg that runs through 12:45. So the next, let's say just a little over a half hour, 35 minutes or so. So keeping an eye on those two storms. There was a measured wind gust we saw out of Morgan County, Indiana, 65-mile-per-hour gust there as these storms started to roll on in. So let's head off just a little bit off to the south. We'll show you here some of the storms that are just now starting to knock on the door. Just northwest of Greensburg, a lot of lightning associated with these two. We'll put a little counter on there. It looks like 161 strikes. So that's not the entirety of the storm. That's just whatever is showing up on the screen right here. And over the last 15 minutes, in fact. So you can kind of double that-ish, kind of give yourself an idea of that's almost 300, a little over 300 strikes probably within the last half an hour. So every 10 minutes or so, looking at a good, healthy strike count, about, 100 or so. So a lot of lightning. There are some gusty winds. We do have that one severe storm. The storm right now down here towards Hall Creek that's just now kind of starting to push its way over. Not severe at this point, but we'll keep an eye on that to see if they extend anything into the National Weather Service office in Wilmington. We'll see if they extend anything into this area. Now, Greensburg and Decatur County, that's still the Indianapolis office. But we'll keep an eye on there as that storm starts to push a little bit further off to the east. Let's hop around and see what else we got going on. Like I said, this is kind of the appetizer round here of storms. Pushing back off to the southwest, we have another big, excuse me, as I cough uncontrollably out of nowhere. Been fine all day up until 5 seconds ago. All right, so we have this little cluster of storms. I'm hoping this takes a little bit of the energy out of the atmosphere before this next round arrives. You can see that big yellow box back here stretching from Illinois all the way back into Missouri, portions of Arkansas. This is a severe thunderstorm watch they have issued. And actually, a new mesoscale discussion. That's fancy talk for the nerds are having a moment here online. Let's see. So we're talking, severe potential increasing through the afternoon. Likely going to have a watch coming soon. Watch probability, it'll be a severe thunderstorm watch. Likely coming here for our area within the next probably half an hour or sooner. So keeping an eye on that for our area. At least for now, the only severe thunderstorm watch we've been seeing has been off to the southwest. This cluster of storms will press our way later on tonight. We're going to be dealing with this round of storms. Looks like somebody has hijacked my computer in the other room. That's all right. They'll figure it out. You can see this cluster of storms. This is what we're going to be dealing with initially here the next hour or two. We'll catch maybe a little bit of a break. If it doesn't take enough energy out of the atmosphere and we allow things to kind of rebound with some more sunshine that you're seeing in between the two rounds of storms, that would be bad news for us. Sunshine not entirely good on a severe weather day. It allows warmer air to build to the surface. Warmer air leads to instability because naturally it wants to rise, right? Warmer air, you've heard, rises. as it wants to rise, that'll help those thunderstorms get fueled. So that would be an unwelcome addition here. You can see some of that rainfall off to the south. All right, so keeping an eye on those things. Let's hop over and show you a little closer to downtown again what we're dealing with. Again, most of the tri-state right now rain-free. We do have some storms that are pushing into our northwesternmost community, Decatur County. You're going to see this momentarily if you haven't already started to hear the thunder from some of those storms pushing in. 2 of those storm cells are severe, and they have, boom, just as we are talking. Sometimes things just work out. Okay, we're going to go off the cuff today. Typically, I like to just run through things, but we're going to get wild. Who knows what will happen on a first alert weather day. And that is our new severe thunderstorm warning. Just got it here on my phone as well. That runs through 1 o'clock. That it does include northern Decatur County. This does not include Greensburg. As you can see, you're just south. I'll turn off the radar here so you can see what's going on. Does not include the Greensburg area, but does include St. Paul up there. We'll zoom in a little bit further. Fugate, Williamstown, St. Paul area, I-74, and some of the creeks and streams there of northern Decatur County, all under that severe thunderstorm warning. That runs through 1 o'clock. Biggest threat from this, going to be damaging wind. That is our biggest threat for the day today. It's going to be the damaging wind threat. Gusts likely in storms today, 60 miles per hour plus. You could also see in any of these severe thunderstorms the potential for hail 1 inch plus. Some of the bigger storms today, if we do get one of the more well-developed, what we call a supercell, we could certainly see, if you get one of these discrete cells, hail sizes up to 2 inches or so, but something to definitely keep an eye on as we work our way through the day today with these storms that are popping back up. We'll throw the radar back on and show you as this storm presses in. Greensburg, not under the severe thunderstorm warning per se. However, you do have, as you can see down here, some of these, stronger storms, more intense rainfall. This will start to clip through your area within the next 15 minutes or so. Let me get an idea here of how fast these storms are moving. It looks like we are moving 60 miles per hour. They are booking it. Let me get a track ready for this. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Let me turn some things off. I haven't gotten this, I just started a couple weeks ago, still working on getting this exactly how I want it. But we'll get there eventually. 60 miles per hour already there. All right, let's put a track on the front end of the storm to show you when this will be pushing its way on in. And if these storms can hold together, Connorsville, looking at your area, about 12:44. So again, a half an hour. That's it until these storms push into your, your neck of the woods. Brookville area a little bit later, closer to the top of the next hour, 1 o'clock, 12:50 or so, near Brookville Lake. Greensburg, like I said, not under a severe thunderstorm warning, but you are in line to get some heavy rain, a good amount of lightning as well. That will be pushing in within the next 10 minutes or less into your area. So, and lo and behold, sometimes, it just works out. You don't move the graphic and things just happen. A new severe thunderstorm warning. You can see they're kind of just warning the whole line at the same time. Just makes it easy, a little less confusing. You don't have several things happening at the same time. This newest warning they have just issued expires, drum roll please, at 1:15, so about 15 minutes later. So that's for the next hour. That will include our northwesternmost communities. That's portions of Franklin County. That does include the Brookville area. It includes all of Fayette, Union counties. This does not cross the state line into western Ohio yet. But with how fast these things are moving, and since it's going to be, in the Brookville area within the next, less than an hour, it'll probably be crossing the state line close to 1 o'clock if I put that track back on it. And we'll do that. Let me zoom back out. Show you kind of what's going on here with this storm line. There have been reports with this storm line of damaging wind already. So just in the next 49 minutes or so, Richmond area, you're looking at 1 o'clock. Brookville's in Kentucky. Brookville at 12:51, Connorsville 12:44, and then across the state line, probably the Oxford area, closer to that 1 o'clock hour as well. Nothing for Ohio yet, but keeping a very close eye on this. There was a measured gust in the Martinsville area, another measured gust. Let's see what this one's all about. We're just going to have a good old time today. Let's see. Thunderstorm wind gust that was out of Shelby County, 64 mile per hour wind gust reported as well as at a weather station there. So measured gust that was at 12:14 just 4 minutes ago. A gust there on the southeast side of Indianapolis as that line of severe storms pushed its way on through. So keeping a close eye on that. That was at 74. So Rushville, if I got anybody watching from Rushville, this is heading your direction very shortly. Likely some damaging wind embedded in this line of thunderstorms. Greensburg, it's just now starting to push into the west side there of Greensburg, a little bit closer to Ewington, Bernie area, some heavy rain there. Then off to the southwest, it looks like something got updated here. Let's see what this is all about. Let's try something else. Let's see what this does. Maybe, nope. Not today. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Here's thunderstorm. Okay, so they've upgraded this just a little bit. You see the outline of the box change to a white outline there. And what we're dealing with here is an enhanced severe thunderstorm risk. Looks like they're expecting gusts now within that line of storms as it pushes towards Rushville, northern portions of Decatur County. Wind gusts expected now with that storm to be topping out at about 70 miles per hour. 70 miles per hour to the surface. We've had the measured gusts 65 plus, and you can see there near the Addison area off of 74 between, right around Shelby County still. Let's zoom in here and we can get some ideas of what kind of wind speed. I've turned on the velocity, what direction, what speed things are moving. In this case, what speed the rain is moving here. So the area we are looking at is outside of the tri-state. So Greensburg there at the bottom right of the screen, up to the northwest of that. This storm would be heading towards Fayette County, though, eventually. And we will time it out for you again in a second. Let's get some ideas of what's going on here. In terms of miles per hour, yeah, I mean, that's just the first thing I clicked on. I'm sure if I clicked a little bit more around the area, we get some much lesser amounts. But, yeah, that's a very potent line of storms that's pushing its way on in. There has been a history of, damaging wind or the potential for damaging wind. I haven't seen any actual damage reports, but with 2 gusts over that 65 mile per hour threshold, certainly a good idea to put that enhanced severe thunderstorm warning there. Which you can see. I know I'm highlighting it with the mouse like you can see it. And they've extended that now, as you see. They've changed the color to include areas just up to but not including Franklin and Fayette counties. So be very careful. I'm going to put a track on this because the storm is moving 60 miles per hour. It's moving at a good clip. I'm going to track this up to the northeast. And over the next 39, 40 minutes or so, Connorsville area by about 12:51. That is the worst of the storm. Let me remove this a little bit because it's already starting to outrun that area I just drew. You can expect the worst of those winds in the Connorsville area just before 12:50, 12:47. So about 25 minutes from now in the Connorsville area. If you get at 12:37, Abington, that's just north and outside of Union County at 12:59, closer to the top of the hour, just after the 1 o'clock hour if these storms hold together near the Oxford area. And it might get lucky with Oxford. It might go just north of Miami University and Oxford. So keeping a very close eye on this storm because we do have, like I said, some estimated gusts. Let me change the radar site too so it's a little bit closer because what happens, the curvature of the earth, the radar beam goes in a straight line. So the further out it gets, the higher that beam gets up into a storm. So we're not really sampling too much at a nice low level. So I'm going to switch real quick to the Indy site. You can see the radar there switched a little bit. And now let's get a little idea of what these gusts are howling at. And it gives us, as you can see, a little bit more of a detailed view since it's a little bit closer to us. So near the St. Paul area, this is the northwestern corner. Let me turn off the warnings real quick so I can get a better idea of what's going on. Give me just a second here. Let's do a few clicks on the map. 62 mile per hour gusts there just by the St. Paul area, 65-ish. A little outside of the area, and 63. So this is a little bit more realistic of what we should expect from this storm, 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, and that's what that is warned for. That's why that box, the severe thunderstorm warning box here. Let me clean that up a little bit. That will get a little messy real quick. That's why that is a white outline rather than the normal yellow outline you're seeing for portions of Fayette and Union and Franklin counties there. If I fill that in, you'll see that a little bit better. So that's why it's white instead. They're expecting gusts within that initial line to be packing, wind gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour. So a messy, messy storm as that starts to push its way back in. What I also don't love about this is that it's starting to bow a little bit. And when you get a bow, it kind of it points out the fact the storm, that winds behind it are starting to push it a little bit, and it's bowing out. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. Just from the east of Indianapolis, I'm going to draw a line here. You can see that's just a faint bow, and as it pushes east, things behind that, pushes out this direction. It's really hard to draw an arrow on this thing. Let me go back real quick. Let's undo that. That was just a terrible attempt. I got a better idea. How about this? So winds behind that start to push and rush out, and then you get this bowing segment, and that's where you're more likely to see, enhanced chance to see some damaging wind, and that's what we've been seeing up there on the north end, northern Decatur County, just outside of the area, Rush County. This is all going to be pushing east into Franklin County, Fayette County, and eventually down the line a little closer to the top of the next hour, 1 o'clock, in Union County. So I have to wrap things up here on the stream here, but I can stay online. So let me just kill this for a second. I don't know if this will mess me up or not. Trying this on the fly here, so we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to keep that one going, though, and we'll see what happens. I just know that they have to do some other shows here on the air, over the air stream, so I think I fixed that problem on the fly. Let me check Facebook. Let's see if we got any fun comments. Probably not, but maybe we'll get lucky. Let's see here on our Tuesday. Expand the comments section. What do we got here? So, Summit Country Day baseball games today at 5 o'clock. Do we think those are going to happen? So, let me hop to a model, because that's one thing we haven't shown you just yet. We've been tracking the storms that are pushing in. Let me show you what we got going on here in terms of the model. And this might answer a lot of the other questions. That's just the first one I saw. Tornado watch, uncertain. They are supposed to launch. Let me answer one question at a time. I don't want to get carried away. Sometimes I get sidetracked and get lost. Here's the weather model for the rest of this afternoon. You can see as we work our way towards 1, 2, 3 o'clock, that's when storms are going to be, pretty widespread across the area. We'll catch some breaks here and there. This is 4 o'clock. That's that 5 o'clock game you were talking about. It's not impossible to see some dry time working our way into this afternoon. However, just be careful out there. If the thunder roars, obviously you don't want to be playing baseball or sitting out and spectating that. Same goes for the Reds game tonight, and that is a game that is here on Fox 19. Of course, it would happen during a first alert weather day. This is just one model. Let me tell you why weather is tricky. Here's a different one. Let me show you the same exact stuff in a different model. It just computes the data a little bit differently and spits out a different answer. This one right now has a pretty good idea of what's going on. This is how I like to compare things with models. If it doesn't look like it has a good hold on what's happening right now, it's probably not going to be good 3 hours from now either. This one, how you can see though here at noon, is showing that line of storms pushing on in, maybe a little ahead of schedule. But it has it by 1 o'clock over the state line, as expected, pretty intense there on the west side of Cincinnati. And then we catch some breaks. Now, here's those breaks I was telling you about. We have kind of the appetizer round and the main round later on tonight. As long as that doesn't take too much energy out of the atmosphere, a little closer to dinner time, and that game, the baseball game, high school games, we got the Reds obviously playing at 6:40 against Soft Lewis tonight. This will start to increase in coverage later on tonight. You don't love to see the purple shades on there. That's a good indication we could see some really heavy rainfall, if not some hail, and more. So that's what we're keeping an eye on there. That storm threat continues through 9, 10, 11 o'clock tonight. We might start to see more breaks from west to east pushing across the area. I'm getting notifications that we have lightning in the area. Not here. It's 48.9 miles away from downtown, so probably those storms just now starting to push into Decatur County. By late tonight, we should start to dry out a little bit, and we'll dry out on early Wednesday, and then, of course, we have more rain and storm chances there. I'll just scroll through into Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. So a messy stretch ahead. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit better on, do you think we'll have the baseball game today? It's going to be dicey. I mean, it really just depends on where these storms line up. You can get lucky. But the chances today, it's going to rain just about everywhere today. We're going to have some rain at some point. If it times out well, maybe. Tornado watch is going to be interesting. Like I told you at the top, if you missed it, they were talking. This was, when I say we, they being the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service, they were talking about a watch coming very soon. And it would be a severe thunderstorm watch, I believe. Let's go ahead and switch this back on and see what we got out here and see if they've issued that yet. I'm on the wrong thing here, and I don't think they've talked about it just yet. But, yeah, they were talking about a severe thunderstorm watch likely needed here across the region by 17Z, 16, 15, 14, by 1 o'clock. So, yeah, it would happen. We'd probably get a watch issued here. It might happen as I'm talking about it because that's what's been happening so far with this stream. It'll come here within the next half hour. It's likely to be a severe thunderstorm watch. Damaging wind is going to be our primary threat today. Tornadoes are possible, but it's not our biggest threat. So I don't, from what I'm seeing, at least on here, it looks like it's going to be a severe thunderstorm watch issued across central and, eastern, southeast Indiana, stretching across most of central Ohio. That's probably where they're going to issue that. For right now, turning it on, let's see. Oh, they have started to issue it. Ask and you shall receive. Kind of weird to do it there first, but Wilmington's probably just working out the kinks right now and trying to draw their map. So that's why you're not seeing anything right now to the west of this. So this is what we're dealing with. Let me find my little pointer here. So this is the new watch that's going up right now. This is kind of this territory I'm kind of outlining here where there's a gap. That is the National Weather Service office in Wilmington's area. They forecast for. You can see the radar spinning around in circles. And then Indianapolis picks up their area, their region in Decatur County here. and off to the west. So several different Weather Service offices. The one here off to the east has already drawn up their map. Wilmington's probably working on it right now. If I jump into the chat, they'll probably, let's see, Yep, so nothing yet, but I bet you they're in the works because they're a little distracted right now with these storms that are just now starting to work into their westernmost communities. So keeping an eye on that. Still some potent storms out there. So that kind of answers the tornado watch question. Reds game, I hope so. 3 in a row for the Reds. Or is it 4? 3 or 4? I've lost track. It's really good when you can lose track of how many games the Reds have won in a row. So hopefully we can keep that up. Maybe hopefully sweep the series. If we do, I'm going to bring out the broom. It's coming. Erlanger, Florence, Northern Kentucky, everybody today. I'm going to have a lot of these questions as I scroll through. Just a general rule of thumb today, everybody's under the gun. Nobody's going to be excluded from any kind of threat today. So just be aware of that. Everybody will have a chance to see a stronger storm today. Nobody really has a better chance than others. I think, if you're looking for a better chance per se, it's going to be up towards central and eastern Ohio, just generally, because they'll have a little bit more of a chance before this first round of storms gets there to get these storms going. Just a little bit more fuel. Let's see, tornado watch for this storm. We just talked about that. Hamilton, same question, same answer. Summit County Day. Let's see, tornadoes day. Warren County, again, similar. Everybody has that threat. Damaging wind, primary threat. Hail, also a good chance for that in any of these severe storms that develop. Can't rule out flash flooding, and of course you can't rule out tornadoes. That is a threat with today's storms. Is it going to be a widespread tornado outbreak? No, probably not. But you can certainly get some of these smaller spin-ups and some of these storms. When I say small spin-ups, I don't want you to discard that. They can do just as much damage, as some of the bigger tornadoes and cause just as much problems. Same with damaging wind. Straight line wind damage can be even more damaging than tornadoes sometimes because they can impact a wider swath than just a 1 mile wide tornado. So don't discount any of the threats today. They're all a possibility. You can get out to Newport and get a walk-in. Yes, Laverne, you can get out there, get a walk-in. I think downtown is pretty safe until about 1:30 or so. Let me put a track on some of these storms here just off of the west real quick. I'm just going to really draw a crude line here of when this storm activity will push its way on in. It doesn't mean that in these areas, because this is not, looking at one storm, this is kind of the cluster as a whole. But just general timing-wise, just before the bottom of the next hour. So about 1:20 or so is when we would have the first chance to see some of those storms rolling through Cincinnati. The Dayton area, if you're watching us from up there, 1:35, so very similar timing. Hamilton area about 1:14, so we're looking at about 45 minutes to that. So hopefully that gives everybody kind of an idea of how much time you have. So if you're trying to get out and get a lunch break in, you'll have just a little bit of time maybe to run out and get some of that in. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up. Let me zoom into that real quick. I don't know how long it's going to be until they come in here and yell at me to get off of this, but this does now include, let me turn the radar off. This includes the rest of Decatur County. So Greensburg now under that severe thunderstorm warning, the new one that just popped up. We also have, this runs up just to the west of Ripley County, so it does not include Ripley County yet. But we're getting there. This will eventually, how things have been going, probably get stretched over to include Ripley County before you know it. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect now through 1:30, so an hour on this one. That does include Greensburg. It includes, the areas just west of Versailles there in Ripley County and our westernmost communities. With that line of storms starting to roll on in Greensburg, you're seeing the thunder and the lightning right now. This is not going to be it for the rest of the day. We have more chances for storms later on this evening, too. New York. I do not forecast for New York. I could take a look at it. I don't know where that is. But there is a chance today, if that's in western New York, to see severe storms. Because we do, as I'll turn on the Storm Prediction Center outlook here, that enhanced risk does include western New York. Most of New York really under some sort of a severe threat, but the best chances today from Syracuse down to Bradford, Erie, Pennsylvania, that area there, Binghamton, Buffalo, everybody under that enhanced risk. 3 out of 5. Very similar threats to what you're seeing here in Cincinnati, what I've been talking about. The threat timing, though, is just going to be later this evening as this storm complex rolls that way. So hopefully that answers your question there. Let's see, what else? I will hopefully have a wonderful day. I'll be much better once I get something to eat. I'm getting a little hungry. I can feel my gut rumbling a little bit. You probably can't hear it on the mic. Let's see. Severe thunderstorm watch. Yep, severe thunderstorm watches are going up. It'll happen here. So the yellow box right now, Wilmington just hasn't drawn theirs up just yet. It'll happen here very shortly. We've issued a severe thunderstorm watch. So they just set it. It'll pop on the screen before you know it. we'll just give this a second here to load on in. Let's turn off the radar, make this a little cleaner so we can see what's going on as it does pop in, because you will see it in real time. This is how things happen in the weather world. Still got a slew of warnings. All the orange shaded boxes back there in southeast Indiana, Fayette, Union, Franklin, Decatur counties, Rush County, which is the one with the white box around it, northern Decatur County. Those are all severe thunderstorm warnings. They are just now coming out with a watch. Remember, watch, that means that things are, the atmosphere is able to produce a severe thunderstorm warning, which is, when it's actually happening. So when we warn you, that is when things are imminent. A watch means that things will happen downstream. They are just now getting the watch out, and it should pop on the screen here before you know it. I'll continue to scroll through and we'll wait for that to happen. When it comes to Eastgate, Batavia, this line of storms, we'll give you another idea here as we draw this on. We'll wait for that watch to come on the screen. So here's where the storms are right now. This is just kind of the appetizer round, the front end of the storm complex. We'll just kind of draw just a generic line again and work our way over to the east side of town. It's probably going to be a couple hours, east side, all the way east, down towards Maysville. We're talking 2 o'clock. So an hour and a half there. Sooner downtown around 1:22. So if you do the math there, between Cincinnati and on the east side over here towards Batavia, Eastgate area, you're talking probably going to be about 1:30 to 1:45. That's the best guesstimate. You could get lucky. You could have a gap in the storms out there. This is just a very general idea of when you could first see those thunderstorms rolling on in. We got squirrels. I don't know what that comment's about. All right. So I am probably going to hop off here soon because I have some other responsibilities as a meteorologist here at the station. However, we will be breaking in probably once an hour on Fox 19. Please tune in if you want to keep, stay weather aware through the day. Also, while we're at it, might as well go ahead and plug the app because this is a really good thing to have. I got it on my phone. It's a nice thing to have. I'll wait for that watch to come out and then I'll show you where it's going to be. They issued it a few minutes ago, so it takes the computer just a second to see those watches come in. This Fox 19 app is a great app to have because it's got a little bit of everything. First off, it's free, so it's the right price. Secondly, on the app, you'll get the hour-by-hour forecast. It's going to look very similar to this on the actual app. And then when you get on there, you'll be able to see these live videos that we do. You'll be able to check out, daily forecasts. I know you can't really see what's going on in my phone hand, but, it gives you an idea. You can have traffic on here, a little bit of everything. But you also get a radar feature. It'll tell you when lightning's close by. I think Steve's voice pops on there and tells you that. It'll tell you, severe thunderstorm warnings. If you have a warning or a watch in your area, you can configure what you want it to tell you about, what it's going to send you notifications for. But great app to have for free, great app to have this time of the year because, of course, it's just that time of the year where it gets a little bit messy outside. I think the watch might have just come through. Let's see. Or it's going to prove me wrong. I know they drew it. There it is. All right. Let's get rid of some of these. Real quick, let's get rid of the radar, let's get rid of the satellite, and we'll just show you this watch real quick. So the warnings now there's a new warning, I'll talk about that too. It looks like they've extended that warning to include portions of Dearborn County now, Ripley County under a warning. The watch in a bright yellow shade for the rest of the tri-state. And this watch, drum roll please, lasts until 7 o'clock this evening. We will not be done with storms at 7. Again, this is kind of the appetizer round. They're talking about storms ending off in the east and central Ohio by 7 o'clock with this first round. We will have more storms tonight. I'll show them to you in a second. But this watch lasts until 7 o'clock. That means we are watching out for these stronger storms to develop. Conditions are favorable. We're seeing round number 1 of that, as you saw there, pushing in from the west. Let's hop back to the radar. I'll show you where those are right now. These are rolling along very quickly, 60 miles per hour. They're already almost cleared through portions of Rush County, Decatur County, Greensburg. You can see in those rain and storms for a little bit now. Let me just turn on the velocity real quick. The velocity, of course, is where those raindrops are headed and how fast. That is not what I wanted to do. Let's get rid of that. Let's just see if we can query some of these real quick and show you how fast. Again, these are elevated wind gusts because I'm looking at the wrong radar site. Let me switch that around just real quick. And we will show the Indy site out here. I don't want that one either. All right, so this is a little bit closer to the radar. This is just kind of a weird spot because it's in between the two radars. But you can still see they're right around northwestern Franklin County. Holy moly. 74-mile-per-hour winds. Again, some of this might be a little elevated, so you're looking more 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds, a little bit closer to the surface. Closer to the surface, it means there's more friction to slow the wind down just a bit with trees and hills and such. I guess not many hills out in that part of Indiana, but more 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds certainly could do some damage if things aren't, tied down, and that is where the worst of the wind right now is pushing back in between Fugate up towards northwestern portions of Franklin County. That's where you're looking right now here on the screen. This being Brookville down here in the bottom right, Brookville Lake. There's a lake here stretching through the middle, and then this is going to be approaching Laurel here pretty quickly. Southwestern portions of Fayette County, you're going to see that damaging wind threat. Right now it is ripping across 52 at a very quick pace, so it's not going to take it very long to get to places like Lakeview, Laurel, the Alpine area along 121 there, stretching between Laurel and Alpine. That is where that damaging wind threat is going to be heading now. There have been gusts with this measured at 60, and they have extended that significant severe weather threat. Kind of an enhanced severe weather. I think that's a significant one with the white. I have to get used to the color tables here at a different station, but I'll just go ahead and put this on there, and you can see that with this, they're expecting those winds to top out at 70 miles per hour. Very, very dangerous situation. You don't want to be caught outside in that. That warning lasts, and you can even see hail up to an inch. Obviously, hail balls, hailstones coming down at 70 miles per hour plus, terminal velocity. Not a great time. Be very careful with that. Let's see what else we got going on. See if we got any hail potential showing up. I just clicked the wrong thing, so we'll give that a second to load back in. Let's see. Any hail potential? I'm not seeing a ton. You can see just a little bit of it there stretching just north of Decatur County. Pea-size hail, not out of the question with that. Not too concerned with that. It's really the damaging wind that I would be concerned with as the storm moves off to the east. Some other wind damage reports you can see there that were already reported. That new severe thunderstorm warning down in Dearborn County. The storm's still pretty far away from you. It's going to be rolling through the Guilford area, probably closer to the end of that warning at about 1:30. Guilford being here in the heart of what is Dearborn County. It's not showing up on the map, but generally this area, Guilford, Yorkville area, that is where those storms are going to be pushing in a little closer to the edge of that. I don't know why I said it so weird. Edge of the warning box. You will see some light rain ahead of that. That's what's pushing through Ripley County now, but the big threat in terms of damaging wind threat from that storm is still off to the west near I-65, but it's moving 60 miles an hour. So I'm going to put a track on this and give everybody kind of an idea as it pushes east. If it keeps that same exact shape, this is kind of when you're going to see that Manchester area, which is close to Guilford, about 112. So again, very close to the edge of that warning box, means it's going to be towards the edge of the expiration time. Osgood at 1258, Campbell, North Vernon, that's out of the area about 1242, so that's pushing into North Vernon right now. Let's see here. Let's get on the velocity again and see what's going on down here. I don't love how it's shaped. That's not my favorite. And we're going to go to velocity. I'm going to edit this and make sure we use the right radar. Oh, just doing stuff on the fly today. Hopefully everybody has a safe day outside. We'll hop off here in a minute. I don't want that one on there. All right. We'll save that for right now and try this one more time. We'll get the Indianapolis radar to pop up. That way we have an idea what's going on down here. Nope, get rid of that. All right, so still a damaging wind threat in this area. Doesn't look like we have any real rotation happening with that, so that's good. But definitely some gusty winds. Keeping an eye on that because there is a higher area, what we call DBZs, where you're seeing more intense rainfall just near the Geneva area. That'll be heading east as well into western Ripley County shortly. Wide picture, real quick, and then I'll wrap it up, I promise this time, of what's going on. Friends play somebody yesterday. Somebody Matt Miller houses 5-game. Yeah, it's gonna be dicey, Justin. I don't think we're gonna have some dry time, but I think by 5 o'clock we're gonna be dealing with some storms across the area. So there's a chance you might start the game and then rain pushes in, or vice versa. You might have the game delayed and then it gets in later. It just depends on when these storms time out, and especially the second round, which we're keeping an eye on. Back off to the west and when that pushes in later on tonight. If you have that break in between, you can certainly sneak the game in, but it's going to be iffy. All right. With that said, I think we're going to wrap this up. Been going for a little while now. Like I said, we're going to be breaking into the news every hour or so. I don't know exactly on the timing because I'm still new. but we are going to be breaking in just to give you weather updates as these strong storms push in this afternoon. Obviously, if we have any tornado warnings, we'll stay on the air. But with severe thunderstorm warnings, we'll kind of hop on, hop off, one of those situations. So we appreciate you. I appreciate you. Everybody here appreciates you watching this update here at noon. A little longer than normal today because we do have active weather. It is a first alert weather day here at Fox 19, and we want to keep you aware of what's happening outside. Thanks again for tuning in. If you have any questions, go to my Facebook page. It was tagged here in the stream. Go ahead and like that, follow it. I'll be having updates if we do have any severe storms ripping on in this afternoon, as they are right now. And we'll be happy to answer those questions. Just shoot me a message, and I'll try to get to you when we can. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow. Another wet and stormy day for Wednesday.